Welcome to our channel today. Today we'll talk about finding hope in the resurrection, a light that never fades. In a small village in Uganda, Mfula, a young mother, faced what seemed like an unbearable tragedy. Her husband had passed away unexpectedly, leaving her alone to care for their two small children. With little money and no stable work, she struggled to provide food and shelter. Each night, she would cry out to God, wondering if things will ever get better. One day, an elder from her church visited her and shared the story of the resurrection. He reminded her, Mfula, after Jesus was buried, his followers thought all hope was lost. But not the third day. The tomb was empty. The same God who brought life from death is working in your life, even now. Encouraged by these words, Mfula chose to believe that her suffering was not the end of her story. She continued praying, trusting that God was at work even in her hardship. Over time, she found support from her church community, who helped her start a small business selling handmade buckets. Slowly, her situation improved. Though the pain of loss remained, Mfula discovered something deeper, the hope that comes from trusting in God's power to bring new life out of suffering. Like Mfula, we all face moments when life feels like Good Friday, when grief, loss, or uncertainty seem overwhelming. But as Christians, we are called to look beyond the suffering, beyond the struggling, towards the resurrection. The empty tomb reminds us that pain and death never have the final word. How can hope transform our perspective? 1. Remember that suffering is not the end. Just as Jesus' story did not end at the cross, neither does ours. Whatever hardship we are facing, we can trust that God is not finished. He is still writing our story, and his plans are always for our good. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for a welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Jeremiah 29 verses 11. 2. Look for resurrection moments. Even in difficult times, God gives us a glimpse of new life, answered prayers, unexpected blessings, moments of peace in the storm. Mfula saw this in the kindness of her church community. When we pay attention, we realize that God is always near, working in ways we might not immediately recognize. 3. Trust that God is working in the waiting. After Jesus was placed in the tomb, it seemed as though all was lost, but in that silence, God was preparing the greatest miracle. In our own lives, when we feel stuck in suffering, we can trust that He is still at work behind the scenes, preparing something beautiful in His perfect time. 4. Hold on to the promise of eternal life. Our struggles here on earth are temporary, but the joy God has prepared for us is everlasting. Even if we do not see the resolution we long for in this life, we know that in heaven all things will be made new. Behold, I am making all things new. Revelation chapter 21 verses 5. 5. Let hope shape how we live. When we believe in the resurrection, it changes everything. We can face challenges with courage, love more freely, and trust more deeply, knowing that nothing is wasted in God's hands. Hope is not just about looking forward to the future. It is about allowing the truth of the resurrection to shape the way we live today. Living in the light of the resurrection. Hope in the resurrection is not just about celebrating Easter once a year. It is about living each day with the certainty that God is working even in our darkest moments. It is about trusting that no suffering is meaningless, no pain is permanent, and no darkness is too deep for God's light to shine through. Wherever you are in your journey, whether in a season of joy, sorrow, or waiting, know that the same God who raised Jesus from the dead is at work in your life. The story is not over. Resurrection is coming. Reflect on these questions today. 1. How has God brought new life out of past struggles in my own journey? 2. What small signs of hope can I recognize in my life today? 3. How can I live with a greater awareness of the resurrection, even in the midst of challenges? Even in suffering, hold on to hope, because with God, the best is yet to come. Thank you, and God bless you.